So when should you call a personal injury lawyer? Hey folks, I'm Brooks Derrick, a personal injury lawyer in Simpsonville, South Carolina. So we know this is typed in a lot, and so we're not quite sure what perspective you're coming from. So we're going to try to answer it from two different angles. So most lawyers that do this for a living, if not all of them that do this for a living, they don't charge consultation fees. And for that matter, they get paid on contingency fees. So they get paid at the very end of a case. And so it doesn't hurt you to pick up the phone and call a personal injury lawyer to figure out whether or not you have a case or need one. The second kind of avenue here is what we're thinking about, right? And so when you make that phone call to us, when you don't quite know what to do, right? You make that phone call to us. This is kind of where we're trying to look at to figuring out whether or not we can add value to your case, right? And so I think about these things in kind of three different examples, right? There's the first example where a lot of us have been, where you just get into a car crash and there's only property damage, right? You might got your bumper dented up a little bit. You don't take the EMS, you're not sore, you don't get hurt. There's absolutely nothing that has gone wrong with your body. In that situation, you don't need a lawyer. A lawyer can't add a lot of value unless you're arguing about an antique vehicle or something like that, right? Like the bucket is what the bucket is, right? You have damages to get repaired, they repair it, give you a rental car, get in that, go home, right? Simple. The other end of the spectrum, right? So you have the property damage only. The other end of the spectrum is I broke my leg in this car crash, right? That person definitely needs a lawyer, right? And so in the middle here, down on this other end of the spectrum, is you get into the car crash, you take the ambulance to the ER, and maybe you miss a week of work, but you don't have any residual pain following the crash, right? In that situation, it's kind of a toss-up as to whether or not you might need a lawyer. Some folks hire us in that situation because they don't want to deal with the crap, right? They don't want to have to remember to return a phone call of an adjuster. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want to deal with that stuff, right? And so hiring us allows them to take that off their plate, and so they can just concentrate on their family or work or whatever, right? But there's also other people that, people that I like to say, like, if you file your own taxes and do all that kind of stuff, you might not need a lawyer in that situation. And in that situation too, it kind of depends on what they're offering you too, right? Like, what is your gut reaction to when they say $10,000 or they say $12,000 or they say $3,000? Is your gut reaction, that probably sounds fair? Or is your gut reaction like, that doesn't sound fair? You might have an expletive to say about the offer, right? But those have two different kind of feelings, right? If you get the one feeling, you probably can call a lawyer. And remember, go back to the beginning, we don't charge a consultation. And I'm going to tell you, and most lawyers are going to tell you, whether or not they can offer any value. So if you've got a $15,000 offer on the table, and I don't think I can provide any more than a couple $1,000s of value, there's no purpose in hiring me, and I'm going to tell you that. All right? And so if you're sitting there thinking about, when should I hire a lawyer? Is it on the side of the road right after the crash? Yeah, probably not. Right? Is it in the ambulance? Probably not. But once you get your bearings back under you, maybe your feet back under you a little bit, just remember, it doesn't cost anything to ask the question, right? And then if you get into that little situation where it just doesn't feel right, and then give us a call. I will tell you, or any lawyer will tell you, whether or not we can provide value. And if we can, we'll bring you in. If not, we'll send you on your way and probably give you some marching orders on how to get a little bit more money out of them.